Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, let me do mine.
Go. 3.
Shut the fuck up.
Good one.
We've just been struggling for... Well, my recordings is 11 minutes, but I mean, we were supposed to start recording an hour ago.
An hour ago.
And granted, I was late as well, but I somehow was still... I even stopped to get coffee knowing I was already late.
Sorry.
Tate works in IT, everybody.
I work in IT. I'm good at technologies.
How are we?
So,
how are you?
Exactly. How are you?
I'm
What's
good.
been happening?
I'm good. I've had a 7-Eleven I found do these what are they called? They're like coffee melts, and the bottom is like all soft serve ice cream, and then you put hot espresso on top. It's very fucking good. It's great. Okay. I had one of those, so I'm good. Yeah. And I redid all my setup, and you saw the picture of my beautiful lights and shit. I still haven't figured out how to change the colors, but it's slowly rotating, which is fine, because the remote doesn't always work, but that's fine.
Yeah. No, it looks really, really cool.
Yes.
It's a boss ass setup.
Well, I needed it because I needed somewhere that I could do math in the corner for uni, and not get frustrated. So I was like, I'll just math. I'm doing discrete maths. It makes me angry.
Discrete maths? That sounds like such a dodgy business.
It's like high level maths and algorithms and stuff for programming. It's like a certain discipline or something. I don't really fucking know. How about you? How are you?
I am. Sorry, I am good.
Nice.
Gosh, yeah. No, I'm good. I am. Yeah, it's been some pretty hectic weeks, just with work and life. But I've still got a sunny disposition.
Mildly infuriated from the morning you've had, though, right?
That's a whole other level.
So what happened? What happened? The
city transport, famous for never being on time, not on time because the buses replacement buses now. I don't know what I just said.
Yeah.
But yes.
Correct.
Got on the bus, got to the next stop, realized I left my mic at home, got back on the bus, went and got my mic, got back on the bus again, went into the city, got upstairs, ready to record, and my laptop's just like struggling, just in hardcore struggle town. I'm like, okay, this isn't working. Didn't recognize my microphone, didn't recognize my camera. The sound was fine, like coming through the headphones. That worked. So
that was good, because when we did finally connect, I was like, I can see you, but I cannot hear you.
Yeah.
I just had like 4 Zoom links for the meetings.
It's been a minute.
Because you messaged me at 9:57 and you're like, oh, I'm heading in now. I'll let you know when I'm ready. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then I text you at 10:40, so it's 40 minutes later. And I was like, sorry, running late. And then you're like, I'm still on the bus. Yeah. 10:56, I'm here now. I'm just starting to set up. Okay, cool. And then trying to get the Zoom meeting you were finally able to join in at was
after the third attempt.
Was at...
And a new link.
2 new links. Was at... Oh, I can't even fucking see the time on this. 11:21. And it's now 11:45. Okay.
Excellent. We are on track. Killing it. Doing such a great job.
And then...
Hey, Ash. Sorry, go.
I was going to say, he tried to check that OBS was recording and it wouldn't open. the files to show you it was recording, so now you're just kind of winging it because you gave up.
Hoping that the sound comes through. Yeah.
Anyway, that's been Tate's morning. Mine's been coffee and coffee tables.
That's been my morning.
Welcome back to another episode of NotasFkd, where we talk about mental health and things. So what's our topic today, Tate?
The topic today is relationships.
Cool, relationships. Okay, so what made you pick relationships?
Well, I mean, as we were talking about last week, there's this flow on from obviously the person that it's challenging. But there's other people, close that people that are close or around you, whether that be a partner or someone you're close to, family, friends, anything like that, even just random people on the street. But it's, there is this, or do. No, there's this sort of flow-on effect.
Ripple effect, butterfly effect.
Ripple effect. Yeah, the ripple, because it's sort of, you're in the center. You are a golden star in the center being dropped into the water.
You're going to say golden goose, and I don't know why.
You're a golden goose in the middle of the water. And, I mean, that works. And the ripples are flowing on to those around you. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm, sure. If it does to you, somebody will get it.
Someone somewhere will get it. 90% of people will be like, uh-huh.
What? But there's that 10% of people that'll be like, oh, fuck yeah, I understand that.
Yes, I've seen a goose once.
I know what gold is. Okay, cool. So when you...
Yeah.
All right. I wish you explained that to me, because when you told me what we were going to be talking about, I was like, oh, cool, because I was thinking less about like the ripple effect that it can sort of have, which is very important. But I was thinking more about, in my head, my brain went to like how you sort of interact. I guess that's kind of the same thing with people, and like how I've always struggled to maintain like friendships. That's always been like a thing for me. So I think in my head, that's where I went with that. But that's interesting how you go that it like ripples out and affects other people. Yeah.
But I mean, that's like the thing about, I guess, the key words is it is open to interpretation, because these things will mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually really great that you thought of it of a different way to what I have, because we can cover more grounds or cover more water for this rippling effect.
Oh no, this is going to just go on forever, isn't it?
So I guess so what do you perceive that to be? What do you
I guess after you explained it, like first thing my brain went to was Tanna, who he popped in and dropped off the hat. He's still at work at the moment. I had to see what time it was. Last episode, and that's my husband. And he is a fucking saint. That boy, holy shit. Yeah. So this is just an episode of appreciation on Tanna. But he's really good. He's really, really good. And he's very good at sort of stepping up when I just kind of, because sometimes when I'm going through like a depressive, I don't know what just happened to my mouth. I don't know what just happened. When I'm going through,
it looked like you just shut down. You went depressive.
It's like
some sort of aneurysm.
It's like that cat when you put that flower on its head and it goes, yeah, that's me. When I go through a depressive episode, it's really hard for me to literally do anything. Like I said before that I kind of just go catatonic on the couch and just stare at the same show over and over again. And he's really good. Like it's hard for me to even do dishes or laundry, or sometimes I can't even put myself to bed. And he's really good because he'll come in and he's consistently trying to make me laugh, which is wonderful. And even when it doesn't always work, he doesn't sort of get disheartened by it. Like he's really understanding nice. In that, but like he'll really step up and just sort of look after me and the house and the pets and himself. And like, I don't think that I've ever known somebody that can just do that. That he just sort of like, he's like a sponge. He just kind of absorbs everything. And he's like, okay, I'll go do all this. And he's like, he gets sad and stuff sometimes, but like everybody does. But he's always like got a way to just like be good with it. I don't know how to, he's an anomaly. He's an absolute fucking anomaly. This is going to be hard to say. A phenomenal anomaly. Did I do it? Did I get it?
Phenomenal what was it? Anomaly. Phenomenal anomaly.
No. Phenomenal anomaly.
Phenomenal anomaly. That's
phenomenal
so fun.
No. Phenomenal anomaly.
Anomaly. Phenomenal anomaly. Phenomenal anomaly. I can't even say it. What? I can't. What's the word? Anomaly. Anomaly.
Yeah. Phenomenal anomaly.
Phenomenal anomaly. Phenomenal anomaly. Phenomenal anomaly. What? Phenomenal anomaly. I can say it now.
Yeah, because you practiced. That's what practicing does. It makes you better at the thing you were bad at before.
No, but like even just before.
Because you've been saying it slowly and you know the separate parts of the word, so your brain can string them together easier. I'm not a scientist. I don't know if that's right.
A scientist? I'm a scientist of the brain. Phenomenal anomaly.
Phenomenal anomaly.
Yeah.
That's going to go on a shirt.
Phenomenal anomaly. Wow. That's the best. Well done.
Thanks.
That's amazing.
Anyway, I love my husband.
Anyway.
He's great.
Yes. It's a phenomenal anomaly.
He's a phenomenal... fuck. Phenomenal anomaly. Got it. But yeah, so when I think ripple effect and like who it affects most, my brain, and it immediately goes to him and like how much he sort of has to deal with because of me. And like I'm constantly like messaging him and I'm like, I love you, I'm sorry. And he's like, stop it. And I'm like, eh. And I just make these weird crying, screaming sounds and he just pats my head and tells me to nap. It's like, okay. But he's great. But he did have to learn a lot about how to sort of help me. And a lot of it was just kind of like trial and error. And a lot of the time now it's just me like pouring at him and I'm like, can I have a hug? And he'll just like hug me. But he stops playing, like if he's playing around with like playing Valorant or something like that and he's online, he tries his best to like comfort me while he's doing that. But because we both play, we both sort of understand that like once he's finished that round, once he's finished the game, then he stops and he comes over like, because I don't expect him to like put down the game because I wouldn't. Like that's rude. You can't do that. So like we've both got little sort of things, but he's really, really understanding. But he did have to do quite a bit of research on like BPD and stuff like that for him to understand why like sometimes I will just freak the fuck out for no apparent reason. And instead of him trying to figure out what it is, he just hugs me really tight, like, because there isn't always a reason.
Yeah.
And so it's just learning. I mean, we've been together 7 years. When we got married at 5 years. We've been married for 7.5 years. Wow.
Well
We've been together 7.5 years. Why was that so hard for me to work out? But that's where my brain went, was to him and how fabulous and of a phenomenal anomaly he is.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. So it's good that you've found a partner, found someone that first of all loves you unconditionally for who you are, and second of all, wanted to invest their time into knowing you better and knowing, your mental health state, and really invested his time into wanting to better himself and his knowledge so that he can take care of you, or that just so that he knows what you're going through, on some level.
Yeah. And I think as well, like when I think back to I met Tanna when I was 18. Yeah. I met Tanna when I was 18, and before then, high school boyfriends and stuff like that. Teenage boys are shit.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the time, because especially during your teenage years, everybody's going through so much and we're all doing it differently, and none of us have the tools to sort of communicate it or really be understanding of each other. That I had a really hard time with the romantic relationships I was in, and also the platonic relationships I was in. So friendships and stuff. And because everybody's going through their own thing and they've all got their own struggles, and everybody's sort of trying to find their way in the world. I'm out of breath. Yeah. Why?
You're just out of breath thinking about him. He just takes your breath away.
He gives me asthma. Is that good? Did you like that?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thanks. I gave you asthma.
Oh, fuck. That was great. Sorry. Continue.
That just came out of my brain. I'm very proud of that.
That's great.
And especially because with you're still laughing about it. Especially because with our generation, a lot of the time the relationships and stuff we see is from the media. So movies, TV shows, stuff like that, the teen drama kind of shit. We all want love like Riverdale, which is ridiculous because that show doesn't make any fucking sense. But at the time, it was really sort of hard for me to understand that there was so much going on that we just sort of weren't understanding each other. So when I think back and I think, I don't even know where I'm going with this train of thought. When I think back and I think of where sort of all those relationships kind of went wrong, it was very obvious that now it's just we didn't understand what was happening with each other. And it probably was 3 or 4 years in that, I think it would have been about 3.5 years in, that Tanna and I finally started communicating. Maybe even after that. And then that's when it sort of, it was brilliant the whole way through, but there was a long time where I still didn't understand that I was having mental health issues. I just thought it was me being dramatic because that's what I've been told my whole life kind of thing. Tanna's just a very sunshine person. He's just always sort of
because of the red hair.
Sure. I don't know. He's just always I don't even know how to describe it. He just always came off very unaffected by things. And then I think slowly the more that he was sort of getting into a serious relationship with me, the more he was oh, there's shit that I don't understand that she's really going through that I probably, could learn about and stuff like that. And it took a really long time for us to get to the point where we are, but I can't remember where I started with this train of thought. I want to cut all of that out. I hate it.
It's all right. It's good.
Yeah. So I think that it's really hard for people to sort of have the relationships they're told that they're supposed to be having, on the TV, and then to actually have them there. We're sort of fed to have those or want to have those types of relationships, but then you also feed in the drama from the same sort of thing, is that you see people do different things and then that's how you sort of react and you learn from that. And it's not sustainable or real, and you don't really learn that for a long time. And it takes a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error, I guess, to sort of really gel with somebody. I don't even know what good. I just said.
You're just speaking about the relationships, and that's really good, because it's not exactly one specific thing. It's, all of these different things that it takes into account different people and how they think about things. And it's always helpful to, try and remember that. Like you were saying, he didn't realize that people go through shit. And it's like, even though people may be going through similar things, there might be two people that have anxiety, but they experience that in two completely different ways.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, with you being silly or, stop being emotional, what was that you said?
Fuck, I don't know. What did I say?
Yeah, but it's like, that's the thing. Like, people who don't understand just say, why are you being like that? Like, you're being so emotional over nothing. And like, I've heard that from so many different people that say people have said that to them.
Yeah.
Because they just don't understand, and they
it's
just
communication.
Have a completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the key to sort of making relationships that concern anyone, or with any sort of mental health issues, or just like in general, to have a healthy relationship that includes your mental health. You need to be okay to talk about it. That's what I was trying to fucking say.
Yeah. Well done.
I'm just going to cut out my rant from before and put this in instead.
Just that.
Yeah. So when you're younger, I figured it out now. Hold on.
Here we go.
So when you're younger, you're fed this romanticized, essentially, version of how relationships should be. But none of those people on the TV or in the movies, like, they're just surface characters. They're not actually, they could be experiencing something in the movie, whatever it is, but they don't really actively talk about everyday kind of mental health and emotional challenges and shit. And to have I'm not a doctor, this is not medical advice or whatever, but to have a successful relationship that involves any sort of a mental health, where it's like trying to interact positively with it rather than like negatively, like hiding it or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You need to just fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
And you need to just like not flower it. And it can be fucking terrifying. There are times when like I've literally laid in the dark in Tanna's arms and I'm just crying my fucking eyes out. I don't even remember what I've said the next day, but like I just spilled word vomit, like you said last week. Everything that's going on. And then the next day, he sort of doesn't initially react, which is sort of what you need. And then the next day he's like, you want to talk about it? And we go through everything and we sort of try and work through it. And it's not being scared to be open and to talk with your partner about everything that's going on, because it affects them too. I'm burping, sorry. I'm out of breath again. And I think that's what I was trying to say before.
Yeah.
Was that when you're a kid, when you're a teenager, even in your early 20s, late 20s, 30s, wherever, if you aren't taught to communicate about mental health and emotions, everything's just going to end up like a teen drama that's gone sideways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where everything gets like sort of really Romeo and Juliet dramatic kind of fucking thing. And I think that's where, because I was fucking like that, especially being we were both fucking theatre kids. And how dramatic were we? How dramatic were we to each other? My God.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other night. And it's just like, we have these reactions and these conversations and these sort of ideas of how these scenarios are going to go. And they're all based off what we've seen. Well, to me anyway, they were all based off like what we've seen in the movies and stuff like that. And it's not sustainable. It's not real life, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, because talk about shit. But when you say like relationships and the ripple effect, my brain goes back to like when I was a teenager, from the time that I was like 13 to like the time I met Tanna. And like, you remember some of the boyfriends I had.
No comment.
Anyway, but a lot of the time I was like whirlwind and all that kind of stuff, and it was like 3 or 4 months of like I said before, like Romeo and Juliet shit, and like those two were dumb teenagers that ended up killing themselves. Like that's not a love story, you know? And there's just lots of things that I think back to, and I'm like, oh, that was some dumb teenage drama bullshit. And the reason it was like that is because we couldn't figure out how to talk to anybody or even talk to ourselves about it, let alone talk to the other person about it. And that's ridiculous. And that's where my brain goes on relationships.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Goodbye.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Just as you said that though, like about the Romeo and Juliet thing, the line from Hamilton just came into my head for no apparent reason.
I haven't seen Hamilton.
That's okay. That's okay.
You're the first person that hasn't yelled at me for that. Thank you.
It's all right. I mean, it's a TV show. Some people don't have time for it. Well, it's not a TV show. It's a musical that then recorded on stage with the original
It's on
cast,
Disney Plus, isn't it?
Phenomenal. Yes. I do
I don't
actually
have
recommend
Disney Plus.
I'll give you my login.
Okay, yes, please.
Yeah.
Tanna said I'm not allowed to have any more subscription services. Although now I can write my Adobe stuff off as business because you also use it, so it's fine.
Yes, exactly.
My Adobe suite is now business related.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. But a line that the character George Washington says to Hamilton is he says, dying is easy, young man, living is harder.
Oh, fuck.
I completely agree with that.
That's deep as shit.
Absolutely. There's a lot of really like true lines in that show.
Yeah, okay. Give me a login.
Lin-Manuel Miranda has done. Yeah. He's done a really good. He's amazing. First and foremost, he's amazing. Second, that whole cast is phenomenal. Oh. Well, I mean, even if you don't watch it, Hamilton is coming to Australia next year. I think it's in Sydney in March. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to be in Melbourne, though.
I'll just come to you.
Yeah, sweet. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's that whole communication thing is very much should be an open. It should just be a.
It doesn't make sense why it's hard.
Like it's and I guess especially well, not especially, but I mean this typical thing of being a male.
Oh my God.
Not being able to open up and express, and like personally, it has ruined a lot of relationships for me because
you know what is fucked? That's fucked.
That's fucked.
That's fucked.
But I mean, like, I feel as though that's a thing. Like, it's taken me honestly far too long to feel like I can openly talk about things for whatever reason. And, it's taken me like small steps. It's been like a hell of a road to feel like I can open up to, whether that be a partner, whether that be family, whether that be a psychiatrist or something like that.
Podcast. Bunch of strangers on the internet.
A bunch of strangers on the internet, yeah. So get ready for that. But yeah, it's definitely something that has affected my whole life. And being open and comfortable enough to be able to talk about that. It's been a long time coming. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. It's taken far too long. I don't know what I was...
Yeah, I don't know either. It's taken like our entire friendship and then some.
Yeah. And yeah, just being open. Like that's what I was getting at. Like it takes a long time to open yourself up. And like you were saying with your partner, like it took about 4 years for you guys to truly sort of like gel on things. And yeah, I think that's like sometimes it does take time to form a connection with someone that you feel safe enough to be able to talk about that thing, something.
I think that's where you and I are lucky in the sense that like we were able to sort of confide in each other when we were younger. And even though, again, it was filled with lots of teenage drama because, one, we were theatre kids. And other theatre kids are also very dramatic.
What? No, we're not.
But then it got harder as we got older because we sort of, like you moved to the city and all that kind of stuff, and I'm lazy and don't go outside. And then like once we sort of stopped doing theatre and stuff like that, we kind of lost touch until, I mean, not even that long ago, really. A couple of months ago, properly. Yeah. But when we were younger, we were really lucky to find, because you were the only person that I could really talk to about that shit, because everybody else would look at me fucking weird. They're like, oh, yeah, but I used to get it a lot. And I used to get a lot of, oh, but you've got a big house and your family has a nice car, like, and you're an only child, like, what are you complaining about? And I'm like, I don't know. That's the problem.
Yes.
Like, yeah. But I think the biggest thing that got me when I was younger was that I had a really, really, really fucking really hard time making and keeping friends. I can make friends like fucking nobody's business, but I have a hard time making like sort of deeper, stronger friendships and keeping them. And especially when I was younger, because we moved around a lot. And I was always sort of the bigger nerdy girl. So I used to get bullied, but like everybody kind of gets bullied, which is fucked up in its own sense. But that wasn't necessarily it. It was the fact that like I had a really hard time keeping friends. And because of that, I would sort of be a bit more sad, or I'd get sort of too attached to my friends. And even now I go completely out of my way to impress or to sort of, what's the word I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
I want to say like be in good favor, but that doesn't sound right.
Be in good favor. You want to impress someone.
Brownie points, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I don't know somebody tell me what word I'm trying to think of. Please help me.
I don't know.
Just put it in the comments. I go completely out of my way to be in good favor, insert correct English here, so that they'll sort of like me and appreciate me and want me to be around more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's sort of what I'm used to, and I still do it now. But now I have friends that are like, stop it. You don't need to do that shit. Like, and then they appreciate me for just wanting to do that stuff for them. And like now with Victoria, it's the same sort of thing. Like if she's sad, especially because she's only moved here in the last 6 months, and with all the COVID stuff now, she's quite far away from her family, who they're Italian, so they were very close. But like for her birthday and things, like I go out of my way just to do little extra things to make her happy, because I feel like that's what friends should do for each other. And she does the same sort of thing for me now. And it's just weird because like I've never really had that. Yeah. I'm just a very extra friend, I think. And I think that comes from the fact that I've never really been able to have or keep strong friendships. Hey everyone, quick interruption. We had some technical difficulties where apparently My voice got extremely low for Tate to hear, so there was about 5 or 10 minutes of him freaking out and us trying to rectify the issue. So here is a random jump cut and some whistling.
Okay. No, so it's like I was saying, before, like there's so many different things about so many what's the word? There's this stipulation around males, I guess, that they can't talk about feelings and they can't be open and honest and all that sort of thing. And yeah, honestly, it's bullshit because like unless you've got someone that is just willing to take, I guess, the shitstorm from you bottling everything up and not speaking about things, which is not healthy for you or them, whether that's a partner or a family member or a friend or whatever. I feel like it's just not healthy to bottle everything up. And like I was saying, it's taken me far too long to realize that I can talk about shit, that I can open up, because my head is fucked. Stamp. That was a stamp thing.
No, you're not as fucked as you think you are, Tate.
No. Oh, sorry. My head was fucked because then I realized I'm not as fucked as I think.
Because the stigma is fucked.
The stigma is fucked. Yeah. So, it's like, like you were saying, like it's good to have, I guess, in those earlier years, someone that can understand you or sort of doesn't just immediately judge you. And I think that's obviously, primarily that's the hardest part for anyone really to start speaking about things, is they feel like, they're going to be judged or they're going to be, like ignored. Outcast, ignored, just purely because of how they think, which is stupid.
Yeah, it's not like you can control it.
Exactly.
It's like Victoria and I were joking before, like when you were trying to get stuff set up, I went out to get my water bottle and I just yelled into the void. I was like, why am I anxious? And V's like, have you tried not being anxious? As an obvious joke. She didn't mean it. And I was like, oh shit, didn't think about that. And then I came back in here. And it's like when people give you that sort of information, it's like, well, and that's when you need to communicate and be like, I'm anxious and I don't know why, but this is what I was doing and this is sort of what I'm feeling. And I think a big thing with any sort of relationships that have to do with mental health is not just communicating about what's happening to you, but what you need. Because as much as it would be cool, but also very annoying, people aren't mind readers. And everybody experiences different things. So like when I'm anxious or freaking out or sad, I need to I've gotten comfortable enough now to tell Tanner exactly what I need and, whether he can provide that for me or not. He's very good at sort of like it helps him understand what is kind of happening.
Yeah.
And I think to lessen that sort of ripple effect of shock and sort of to make it less jarring, I guess, while you're trying to communicate with anyone you have any sort of relationship with, is knowing what you need, whether that's through meditation or self-discovery or therapy or anything, whatever that is that you need to figure out what you need, or even if you're not sure what you need, communicate that.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm really fucking anxious right now, because people aren't going to be able to help you if you don't know what you need.
Yeah.
It's like, I just need somebody to sit next to me. Like when I tried to call you the other day, ended up getting broken, but like I called you and I was like, sorry, I was just feeling really anxious and I just needed somebody to be on FaceTime with me, not necessarily actively talking, but just doing whatever the fuck they were doing. So it didn't feel like I was completely alone.
Yeah.
And like that, knowing and figuring it out, like I said before, trial and error or therapy or just talking about it or self-discovery, if you meditate, where your brain wanders, whatever it is, nobody can help you unless you sort of know what you need from them. And then I think that can be where a lot of relationships sort of fail, is that people don't know how to help each other because they haven't. That was a weird noise from my light strip, sorry. They don't know how to. Because they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah. And that's also a really big thing of like, there are times when you get into a state in your head, whether that's high functioning, low functioning, whether it's something that's a little bit there, it's a little bit there, coin that phrase. But sometimes you don't know what you need. Sometimes you don't know exactly how to not be feeling a certain way, or not to be scared of a certain thing, or not to drive yourself mad. And it's okay not to know. It's okay to sometimes just to break down. It's okay to
but even break, like, sorry to interrupt you, but even like breaking down is something that you might need to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So like if you're sitting there and you're having a panic attack and you're like, I don't know what I need, nobody can sort of help you unless you sort of just like do the things that you need to be doing, whether that's like to cry into a pillow or scream or just sit catatonically on the couch.
Exactly.
And your body will just sort of kind of know what it needs to do, but to make it less jarring for the people around you, you need to explain that, which can be really, really hard. But like I said, it's a practice thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're definitely not going to get it right away, but if you sort of actively think about it and try and work on just communicating what you think you need, or even saying that you don't know what you need, is going to fucking help.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. That's exactly it. Like, sometimes you just need something and you don't know what it is, but you need to just
feel it.
You need to feel it, and you need to experience those things, because like sometimes you just need to get it out.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing as well, is just accepting in your, and it's for the benefit of your relationships, but also your relationship with yourself, is like allowing yourself to feel things. Like, and I mean, I can't really speak, but especially from like for a guy where there's even more stigma on it, like the act of trying to suppress or ignore stressful or uncomfortable thoughts is way more damaging than it could possibly be to just sit there and let it out. And that's a big thing in BPD, is because we go from like one emotion to the next in the blink of an eye, being able to stop or even later think back and name the emotion is such a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly it. Like, just suppressing everything, just like being a male and feeling like talking about something makes you weak. Fuck that, man.
Yeah, like, that's stupid, because
it's so dumb.
It like, literally doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. How is being emotionally aware or self-aware a bad thing? That's a fucking skill to me.
It's fucked.
That shit's hard. Like, and if you can do that, well, fucking done. You're doing something right. Like,
yeah. Like, I've got I mean, it obviously, like, mental health awareness, especially for, well, not especially, I should say, separately, for males. Like, there's a lot of just male-based groups and what am I trying to say?
Organizations.
organizations, that talk about male-specific depression and, being able to open up. And there's like some really great advice out there. And even like on TV, there's some really good ads that it's just like, you can grab a beer with a mate. And like, I've got a really good mate that I'm happy to talk to about stuff, because he's like, just fucking, like, we just talk about shit and it's fine. There's nothing, because he's going through some shit as well. I'm going through some shit. And it's like, I'm not afraid just to be like, hey mate, like, I mean, this week's been fucked. Yeah. And we just grab a beer, we play some pool, and everything's fucking all right.
See, it's so weird for me. Like, I think because I am very much the person that will sit down and sort of not force in like an angry way, but force in like a supportive way to openly talk about things. So it's still really strange to me to like hear that. And of course it happens, and it's not any worse or any better or anything. It's just different stigma on guys' mental health. Yep. And then again, it's not worse or any different for like LGB family. I can never say the full thing. That's a fucking tongue twister for me, and I'm so sorry, but that group, their mental health stigma as well. It's not any better or worse or anything. It's different stigma. And it is really hard for people to sort of understand the different things that people go through and all that kind of stuff. But that's what the communication about. And that's why we do this. That's why we're doing this project. And that's why we're doing this podcast and everything, to sort of do our little bit to help with that side of things.
Yeah.
We're just making it a bit more about open communication and being able to relate to different things and things and stuff and things.
Things and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really good to have, obviously, friends, family, to be able to listen to this. But like, say for instance, you didn't have you didn't have Tanna, you didn't have a partner there with you. Who would you be speaking to?
Like, I'm also really lucky in that I'm not scared to go and ask for help. Like, I will just go to, I have a therapist that I speak to regularly, but if I didn't have, his name's Josh. If I didn't have Josh, I would just go and find somebody. Shout out to Josh. I love you. I would just go out and find another therapist, because I flat out am self-aware enough to know that I can't do it by myself. If I actively need help, I'm not scared to go and find it. And I'm really fortunate that I'm not scared to go and find it. Whereas for other people, it can be a bit daunting and things like that, and then they bottle it up. But the whole thing, relationships with anybody you have, it just comes back to communication. And that's the best way to make any sort of relationship work, if you have mental health issues or not.
No, that's great. That's really good.
I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty good tangent to sort of end on. You reckon?
Yeah.
Sure. I think my biggest takeaway, anything to do, I keep saying it over and over again, but I will harp on about it forever, because it's the thing that I think has like saved my relationship and my life multiple times, is communicate and practice it. Even if you have to just like start small, like little text messages or fucking talking to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to talk about it, there's nothing else that you can sort of do that will actually help you. That's the first step to having any sort of positive outcome, is talking about it. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end. So thanks so much for listening. If you're on whatever podcasting things you're on, thanks so much for watching. If you're watching the VODs, if I've put them up, otherwise I'll have to cut that out. No, I'll put them up because I think they're cute. And you can have a look at our Facebook and our Instagram. It's just at NotasFkd. Well, not as FKD because you can't put swear words in titles of things. So I did a sneaky.
Don't be cussing.
Yes, that's the devil's language. I was going to say sandwich, but it's the devil's sandwich.
That's the devil's sandwich?
Yes, curse words. Anyway, ignore that. And you can find us on our oh no. You can find us on our personal ones, which I've got on the VOD. So I am at Catastrophe. Yeah. I'll put it in show notes or whatever it is because I can't be bothered spelling it out. And Tate is at Tate is Alive. And
Tate is alive because I never gave up, never surrender.
Otherwise, this podcast will be done with a ghost and it will be a paranormal podcast. Ooh, I'd do it. So, yeah, thanks so much for watching, listening, whatever the hell you're doing. And just remember, you're not as fucked as you think you are. Time for Tate's Tidbits.
Tate's Tidbits.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, here's a good one. Here's a bit of a throwback quest.
Oh, no.
It's about a movie this time.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Even though the title is Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice only appears in what percentage of the movie? Less than 16% of the film. He actually wasn't in it that much. About 16 to 22%, which is about 25 minutes. 28 to 45%. He was in it a bit, but not as much as Gina or Alec. Or more than 50% because, duh, it's called a Beetlejuice.
I think I'm going to go, what did you say, 16 to 24?
16 to 22%, which is about 25 minutes.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lock it in, Eddie?
Yeah, lock it in, Eddie.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. About 25 minutes. I thought so because I was thinking about it. I was like, I swear it's not in it actually that much. Mm-hmm. But I felt like 16% was a little too less.
16 to 22, yeah. Basically he was pretty much on set for about 2 weeks and that was it. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. How crazy.
I wonder what his paycheck from that would have been like.
I can't imagine.
Tate's a struggling actor.
I'm not even acting because of COVID.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was probably really loud.
It was.
But yeah, most thing to take away from today is relationships are important. Talk to people. Have faith in people wanting to stop licking your microphone. Wanting to help. Like you were saying before, you say sorry about talking to someone or feeling like you're a burden, but it's not because people genuinely want to help you. So don't apologize for feeling the way you feel, thinking the way you feel, being who you are.
Dope. Okay. All right. Well, enjoy that. I'm going to go now.
All right. Have fun at Kmart.
I will. I'm going to spend money I don't have. Bye.
Sweet. Me too. See you later.